Okay, so everything for the digestive system, lectures, these recorded videos, and all lab, it's all right here in its own module. Okay, that seemed easier than continuing to split it up the way I did before. So I've got one more lecture on metabolism to post in there, and then as these are, you know, rendering and stuff, I will post the links here. This is your lab sheet for what you need to know for the digestive system. And let me pull that up. I don't need to download it because I have it. So I got it into, come on, oh, Jesus. There we go. All right, so one page of stuff that goes along with the anatomy in the McGraw-Hill anatomy and physiology thingy. And then one page of histology slides on that same website that we've been using, but these are the specific links to the pages so that you don't have to worry about navigating the site, okay? Again, the only slides you need to know are the ones on here, and then the things that you want to look at are detailed. I felt like maybe there wasn't clear enough last time, so I put a little bit more detail on that here, okay? And again, I'm just trying to replicate what we would have looked at in lab. So these are the slides that I usually go through with my students, so that's what we're looking at here. The same thing here, this is basically the same thing that we would have been finding on our models and in dissection. The nice thing again is that unlike dissection where we'd have to be like, okay, well in the cat it looks like this, it looks a little different in people. Now we're going to be looking at go back to the thing, there it is. You know, now we're going to be looking at the where did I put it? The McGraw-Hill stuff, so it's going to be cadavers. There are a couple of simulations you'll do too. Again, these are actually meant to mimic the labs we would have done. So that's why these specific ones are there. They're also basically the only ones we have access to that, that do that. So two of them about actual digestive processes. So one on starch digestion and one on fat emulsification, which is the thing we'll talk about first thing on Wednesday. And then two on enzymes, so that you understand the importance of the pH and general enzyme function, because it never hurts to go through that. Okay, so you've got 4 simulations to work through by the time we've got a lab exam, and then information on those might be on the exam, but mostly it's going to be this sheet. So then as far as the McGraw-Hill stuff, let me just show you how they organized the digestive system. Come on, doing. Okay. All right, so we go to digestive system and you're in the dissection area. So they, you can see they broke it up a lot. So for example, there's an oral cavity one, but there's also a separate one for salivary glands and a separate one for teeth. And then there's the esophagus, which is not very exciting. There's abdominal cavity, but then there's specific ones for the stomach and duodenum, for the liver, the biliary ducts, and then there's a separate lateral one for the peritoneum itself. So you'll want to go through all of these to find everything. So for example, abdominal cavity is going to give you a lot of stuff. This is where we're going to see the intestines and different features. Some of this stuff you're going to see on multiple views, but it's not necessarily always going to be identified. So for example, like there's that separate one for all the peritoneal layers, but then the greater omentum is also right here. Then like this is showing you the colon, and there's small intestine in here, but it's not necessarily labeling them on that view because I don't know. Sorry, try not to sneeze. And then like the liver, oh, sorry, I just got this sneezy feeling. Like the liver, stomach, and stuff, like they have it like very general here, but then if you go into the specific ones, so like here's the whole stomach, and it's got a bunch of different features on here. So you can see like the greater curvature over here, lesser curvature here, esophagus coming into the cardia, okay, fundus. I don't know why they felt the need to throw that one in there, but body, pylorus, and then the duodenum here. And then we've got the cross section here, so you can see the sphincter, and then the different, so they called the rugae gastric folds, and then the 3 different parts of the pylorus, like that, okay? So these are pretty good detail of a lot of this stuff. Like the salivary glands, for example, they did some fairly good dissections here. So that's the parotid, and for some reason the teeth, and then the sublingual and the submandibular down here, as well as the ducts. So that's going to cover the majority of our gross anatomy. Actually, that covers all of our gross anatomy. I don't know why I said it like that. And then, like I said, that other website that you've been to, I've shown you that before. Follow those specific links for the various slides. Let me know if you have questions about it. But again, they do a pretty good job with the descriptions on that sidebar. So make sure, though, that you're actually identifying everything, because it's not necessarily highlighting different cell types or different structures. It's just taking you to a view that lets you see them. Is there anything else? Oh, and then the other thing, I think we kind of went through this near the beginning, but just as a reminder that if you go over to the checkmark one, it's got quiz stuff. So you can literally test yourself on structures. You can either select specific regions. Don't do histology on, well, I mean, I guess you can if you really want to, but we're not actually looking at the histology slides on here. But like you can do, for example, accessory glands. You can do different types of quizzes. So like you could do lab questions or lab practical. You can select the number of questions, and then it'll just start giving you things. So like here, they want you to actually type in what this is, because it's the lab practical one. So let me move this again. Sharing is nice, but then I can't see everything. Oh God, I'm gonna get this wrong. So I'm like, I don't remember if this is caudate or quadrate, but oh yeah, I'm wrong. Cool. So quadrate lobe down here of the liver, and then it's like, oh, what's that? Right, so this is our liver close-up. So the liver's here, gallbladder's here, hepatic ducts, common hepatic duct, cystic duct, common bile duct, okay? So if I haven't gone through this with you before, because now I can't remember, somehow that feels like forever ago, this has a testing function in it, okay? So this is a great way to study all this stuff after you go through and find all those structures. you can actually go through this and it's going to show you the same things. And then if you do it like the multiple choice, God, makes you go through all of it. So if you do it as multiple choice, and I don't know what all does, then instead it'll give it to you like this. So, you know, it's asking you what's over here, and then you click on it. And then if you, it'll also, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh well, it'll also give you ones where you have to click on the right region, and then it'll highlight if you got it right. So it's nice, especially for stuff like this, for helping to learn this stuff and make sure that you're actually learning it and not just, you know, following the pins. The nice thing about the highlighting too is that, and it does this when you're over here as well. The highlighting is nice because then you're not just getting that pin, you're seeing the whole thing, right? So you see the entire structure and not just where they decided to stick a pin into it, right? Because a lot of this stuff, it's not just a single thing, right? This might say ascending colon, but the ascending colon isn't just here, it's this entire structure. But if you click on it, you get that whole structure. So that way, regardless of where I'm selecting, because I'm not necessarily gonna be like, well, they put the pin here, I better put my number here. I'm just like, well, this is the structure, I just have to put it on there somewhere, right? So that can be one of the hazards of diagrams with little lines going to things too, is that you can't always tell. So things that I noticed that I worry that you guys are getting confused about, just making sure we're clear on that, okay? So as you go through this stuff, if you're having trouble finding anything, or if you're confused, please email me right away. It's better to ask me early, and we can always have a second round of lab review stuff. Even though this is everything you have to do, we can always tackle something later with another recordy thing if we need to. Okay, so Wednesday we'll be done with the lecture material, but the lab stuff technically runs, you have like 2 weeks basically to process your lab materials, work your way through this stuff, okay? So as soon as you find that you have questions, just shoot me an email and let me know. All right, anybody have questions about this right now? Okay, so again, everything is right here in the module at the very top of the page for lab and lecture. And I really sorry I didn't know how to do this before, that I could just add the assignments onto the module. Didn't quite realize it worked that way. Okay, I will see everybody on Wednesday. We will finish up digestive system and then talk about metabolism, which is the other aspect to digestive system function, mostly from the point of view of the liver. Stop the record.